Hi everyone, Leanne here from Jaded Blossom, and I have a fun Easter shaker card to share with you today. Hey, so I'm using Jaded Blossom's spring word dies, their bunny trail stamp set, their square internal scallop dies, their love stacked word, and their stitched square dies. And I'm using the bunny hop 6-inch pad from Doodlebug along with the odds and ends and the puffy icon stickers that match. Okay, so first of all, I have a piece of paper tray ink white cardstock cut at 4 1/4 by 8 1/2, scored at 4 1/4 inches to give you an A2 size square card that'll fit like an A2 size envelope, I mean. Now I'm going to add some paper from that 6-inch bunny hop pad from Doodlebug. And this is cut 1/8 of an inch smaller than an A2, so it's 4 1/8 inch square. So used to saying 1/8 of an inch smaller, but the measurements are kind of easy for this one. There. Now on the inside, I'm going to add a strip of paper from that same 6-inch pad from Doodlebug. And you'll see that I just cut out some of the border paper. I don't know, it's a little over 1/2 inch. I just wanted to cut out these 3 little borders. And I'm going to trim off the overhang with a pair of scissors. You'll see that it's the opposite side of that bunny print from the front. Now I'm going to stamp a sentiment from that bunny trail stamp set using VersaFine Clear Nocturne ink. There. And so it just says Happy Easter. Now I'm going to add a few of the odds and ends from the bunny hop set from Doodlebug. So I'm just going to make this little grouping of items. There. And I will add this little flower. Oops, there's a little fraying of paper there. And there we go. Kind of cute, right? Now I'm taking a black glaze pen and I'm just going to color in the eyes and nose. Remember, you have to let this dry a little bit because it will smear. And I'm pulling out a secure white Jelly Roll pen in a number 10 to add some highlights again to these little images just for fun. Like I always say, I think it adds a little bit of something. Makes them look a little more special, right? So now you're going to want to put that off to the side to dry. I do use a Post-it note just to keep the inside of my card clean, just in case. Just re-flattening that fold. So I have this little shaker, a piece of acetate, and I got these from Amazon. The square, it's a 3 1/2 inch square roughly, and you've got to peel off protective film. And then I go ahead and I rescore the little tabs again. Now these come from a bunch of different companies. I found these on Amazon actually. Pretty handy. So I'm just using my Teflon bone folder just to reinforce those folds. And like I said, it's just slightly larger than in 3 1/2 inches. So I do cut a 3 1/2 inch square to go on the inside of this shaker. Or I guess I'll be covering that square with a shaker. So there it is. So this is pattern paper from that 6-inch bunny hop pad again. And like I said, this is a 3 1/2 inch square. And then I cut it out again in white paper tray ink cardstock just to make it a little bit thicker. I just trimmed it out by hand because, I'm just making it thicker. It didn't need the stitching. And you'll see that I kind of mistake the size. So this is going to be the background of my shaker. So I am going to add this to the inside. There. Whoops. And then I rethink myself. So I'm going to add a strip of this red line tape along the outside edge there of this square. So the idea is that the acetate will wrap around the square and stick to the back. Remember, you want to leave one side open to fill with your shaker mix. So I'm just making sure that that red line tape is stuck down well, and I'm going to peel off 3 sides. Now this is a directional print, so you're going to want your print to be facing up, right, on your card. Or at least I do, because that stuff drives me crazy. So now you stick down your 3 sides there. And now I'm going to add some stuff to the inside. So I've got white seed beads. There, I believe these were from Close to My Heart, but you know. And then I'm adding some moonshine sequins from Cartwright's, and they're a 5mm. And then I'm taking Doodlebugs. These are the shakers are called bunnies and chicks, and I'm just taking some bunnies and carrots and some of these kind of, you know, aqua colored dots out, and I'm just going to add them to my my shaker pouch. You don't have to use shaker mixes, you know, the whole thing. You could pick things out that you like. So now I'm going to add or close my little shaker pouch. There. And now I have a cute little shaker all set to go on the front of my card. I am going to add some score tape and cover the whole back of this, including the acetate. There. And this is just easier, you know, and then I can peel off the release paper and it's all set to stick down on my card front. So I'm just covering the back, like I said. I like score tape because you can tear it. So there you have that. And I'm just going to use my Teflon bone folder to make sure everything is stuck down well. There. So now I will peel off that release paper. And then I'll be trying to center that on my background. There we go. I got to make sure the print is in the right direction. And I will stick that down onto my card front. There it is. So I've got a shaker. So now I'm going to assemble my main image. So you'll see that I cut what's it called? Love stacked word die. Let me look at my little list here. Yeah, Love Stacked Word Die. I cut it out of Paper Tray Ink white cardstock and then again out of pattern paper from that bunny hop pad. And you'll see that I'm just layering them up to make them a little bit thicker so they add a little bit, you know, the thickness adds a little bit more like dimension to your card. So I'm just layering those up, with some Barely Art glue using my reverse tweezers. All my die cutting was done with my Anna Griffin Empress machine, working on a Stampin' Up! Pad, all the same things that I always do. Then I did the same thing with these spring word dies from Jaded Blossom. And I am just going to stack them up. So I cut them out of pattern paper and then again out of Paper Tray Ink white cardstock. And I'm just going to layer them together. That'll make it a little bit thicker. There, and I'm going to weight those all down, and then I'm going to add that to the shadow layer. And, you know, so the idea of my card, it's going to say Easter Love or Love Easter, whatever you want. It doesn't really matter, but you get the gist. So you don't have to use this Love Stacked Word die just for Valentine's cards, right? So there, I've just layered those all up, and I will weight it down with an acrylic block. So now I did cut a Paper Tray Ink white frame from those internal, what is it called? The square internal scallop dies. And this is a 3-inch square. And I'm just using some score tape. This is 1/8 of an inch score tape, and I'll apply that to my frame. I find you don't really want to be using liquid glue on acetate because it takes forever to dry and it's a mess. So I like to use double-sided tape when working with it. So I'm just peeling off that release paper, and then I've got to try and center that as well as I can on the acetate. Kind of draws the eye in a bit. So I'm just trying to get it straight and centered as well as I can. I actually stand up to get this done just because, I find it the easiest when I'm looking straight down. So now I'm going to add on this Love stacked word die from Jaded Blossom with some more of that same score tape. I had it out, so I figured why not. Now ATG tape would work as well. And just trying to, you know, cover this as well as I can. I don't want this peeling off. Just going to make sure it's stuck down well. And I'm using my needle tool or piercing tool from Ranger to peel off the backing. I think it's a Tim Holtz Ranger product, but you know, I tend to use it for this. It's handy to peel off things. So I am doing that as well. There, and getting everything in place. Okay, so peeled off the backing, and then I will get this kind of over to the left-hand side. There. And next I'm going to add my word Easter with some of that same score tape. There, and then I'm just going to make sure it is stuck down well so I can peel off that release paper. Using my nails this time. Probably should have used the piercing tool. Okay, there it is. And then I'm going to kind of have it so it overlaps the word love. I'm going to pull out a dimensional just where it hangs over that word. There we go, and I will get it in place. Whoops, just trying to get it straight, and I realize I've got to have another little piece there, and then I'm going to line that up on my card front. There, so it says Love Easter. And now I'm pulling out this little bunny, and this is from the puffy icon stickers from Bunny Love from Bunny Hop from Doodlebug, the Bunny Hop paper line. And I'm going to add 3 little flowers as well. So I've got a little bunny, and then I'm going to add 3 little flowers in, you know, a visual triangle, kind of like I always do. There, and there is your simple shaker card from Jaded Blossom. So thank you so much for stopping by. Be sure to hop on over to the Jaded Blossom blog, be inspired by the team, the Jaded Blossom store, to get your hands on these amazing products. And thanks as always for watching my videos. I really appreciate it. Make sure to come back and watch another one soon. Bye, everybody.